Some characters are fast, and then there are characters who are nothing without speed. Today we're testing something brutal. Take away the one thing that defines them. No boost, no blur lines, no slow motion flex shots, just the character. Sonic, Hammy, Dash, Chuck. Who still works do want when the speed is gone? Because at character's logic, we don't rank hype. We break down structure. Who would work without speed? Here's the framework. If you strip speed from the character, we judge them on. Who are they without the power? What drives them beyond, I'm fast? Do they move the story emotionally? Is there internal tension? Could any other character fill their role? This isn't about who wins a race, it's about who survives a rewrite. And we're starting with the blue blur himself. Let's be honest, Sonic isn't just fast, he's attitude, confidence, rebellion, loyalty disguised as arrogance. If you remove Sonic's speed, what happens? You still have a character built on independence. He hates control. He hates authority. He thrives on freedom. Speed is symbolic. It represents autonomy. That's why Sonic works. Because his core identity isn't I run fast. It's you can't cage me. That's psychological. His motivation? Protecting others while pretending he doesn't care. His narrative function? He challenges rigid system, whether that's Robotnik or societal order. Without speed, he becomes a rebellious, high-energy hero who still pushes against control. You can rewrite him as a parkour specialist, a strategist, a cocky underdog. He survives the rewrite. Emotionally, Sonic matters because he represents freedom. Speed is the tool, not the soul. Now compare that to someone who lives entirely inside the adrenaline. Hammy. Hammy from Over the Hedge is chaos in fur form. He's hyperactive, easily distracted, running at mental Wi-Fi speeds even when he's standing still. Take away his super speed moment. What's left? Energy. But here's the issue. Hammy's defining trait is impulse. His identity is built on overstimulation. That caffeine-fueled brain. Without speed, his gimmick collapses into comic relief. He doesn't drive the story. RJ drives the story. Vern carries emotional conflict. Hammy reacts. He amplifies moments. He doesn't anchor them. That's the difference. His motivation? Sugar and fun. His narrative function? Escalation and comedy spikes. He works as spite, not as substance. If you removed his speed and toned him down, he becomes replaceable. Any quirky side character could fill that slot. That's not an insult. It's structural reality. Hammy is lightning in a bottle. But bottles don't move plots. Now let's talk about someone who absolutely does. Dash. Dash Par is fast, but that's not why he works. Dash works because he's frustrated. That's the core. He's a kid forced to hide his excellence. Imagine being built to outrun everyone and being told to slow down. That's identity conflict. Without speed, Dash is still a gifted child suffocating under restriction. His arc in The Incredibles isn't about speed. It's about permission. Permission to be exceptional. That final race scene, it's not about winning. It's about controlled expression. Not too much. Not too little. That's storytelling precision. Dash's motivation is validation. His narrative function is representing suppressed potential, even if you took speed away and made him just extremely talented in something else. Coding, athletics, strategy? The arc still works, because the emotional engine remains intact. Contrast that with Hammy. Dash drives growth, Hammy drives noise. Now let's move to someone who sits in between. Chuck. Chuck from Angry Birds is speed as personality. Confident, competitive, slightly insecure beneath the swagger. If Sonic is freedom and Dash is frustration, Chuck is ego. Speed validates him. It's how he proves worth. Take speed away? Now it gets interesting. Because Chuck's psychology is built on comparison. He wants to be the fastest, the best, the standout. Without speed, he's forced to confront identity collapse. Who are you when your advantage disappears? That's actually powerful. But here's the catch. The movies don't fully explore that depth. Chuck functions as the energetic teammate. He supports Red's arc. He doesn't carry one. His motivation is belonging through excellence. His narrative function is dynamic support. Without speed, he risks becoming comic sidekick territory, unless the script leans into insecurity. And that's the difference between potential and execution. Chuck could work without speed, but only if the story digs deeper. Now we escalate. Sonic runs for freedom. Dash runs for expression. Chuck runs for validation. Hammy runs for chaos. Let's line them up. Sonic survives without speed because his identity is philosophical. Freedom greater than velocity. Dash survives because his conflict is emotional. Suppression greater than speed. Chuck survives conditionally, but only if the story deepens his insecurity. Hammy struggles. He's enhancement, not foundation. Notice something? The characters who work without speed have internal conflict. The ones who fail rely on external gimmicks. That's storytelling law. Powers amplify identity. They should not replace it. Here's the retention loop you didn't see coming. Speed is symbolic. For some characters, it represents freedom, expression, worth, superiority. When the symbol disappears, only the core remains. And the core reveals everything. Sonic? core intact. Dash, core conflicted but strong. Chuck, core unstable but workable. Hammy, core shallow. That's why some speedsters feel legendary, and others feel like downloadable skins. Imagine a studio executive says, "We're rebooting all of them, no super speed allowed." Who gets greenlit? Sonic becomes a rebellious drifter hero. Dash becomes a gifted kid story about suppression. Chuck becomes a character study on ego. Hammy becomes comic support again. But storytelling isn't about how flashy you are. It's about whether your identity survives subtraction. Because if your character only works at maximum velocity, you were never strong to begin with. Now I'm throwing it to you. If we strip away speed completely, who still carries a movie? Is Sonic overrated without the blur? Is Dash secretly the strongest written character here? Could Chuck be redeemed with deeper writing? Drop your ranking in the comments. And don't just say who's fastest, tell me who survives the rewrite. Because here at Characters Logic, we don't measure characters by how fast they move. We measure them by what's left when they stop.